All right, welcome back to Finding Focus Talks. We are here for a new episode of the Faith Journey. Haven't done it in a while, but we're back at it. We're here at Ohio State with my good friend Ethan Smith, fellow student here, student FOCUS Missionary. I'm sure we'll get more into that later, but welcome on. We're really happy to have you, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So my first question would be, as a college student, you kind of get thrown off the boat a little bit where it's time to live on your own. It's time to make your own decisions for yourself. How did you feel that going into college impacted the way you view your faith and the way that you kind of make it your own?
Yeah, I think for me, like coming into college, I kind of had this mindset of like, I'm going to go in for 4 years and get out. Like, I want to get in and get out. But I also came in with this thought of like, in high school, I felt like I had to act and play this certain role in my life. Of like, I got to be this person because this is how I've like been grown up with. I've been in the same friend group for whatever long time, and like, this is the person that I am. And like, I was excited to go to college because I actually I want to change, but I feel like I need a change of scenery for that to happen. So then coming into college, and I was cradle Catholic, born and raised. We went to Mass Sunday. Didn't really pray. Have a specific, like prayed before I went to bed. That type of stuff. And then when I got to college, it was like wasn't really thinking much of it. First year came and went. It was pretty stressful, whatnot. And then I'm like, man, I wanted to change, but like it didn't happen. I'm like, how it didn't happen. So like second year, started to actually dive deeper into it. Different reasons, whatnot, that led to that. But at that point, it was like, oh, this actually means something. And like, I need to take it into my own hands and like actually do something about it. So it was like from that point on of like, there needs to be an action associated with this, and I need to do something to make it my own because it's not going to be done for me.
Yeah. So what were like those characteristics that like drew you deeper? Like, was it I want to be like this person in my life? Was it like maybe a unique doctrine or thing about the faith that you're like, that's a characteristic that I want to hand over it, or something like that you're looking at throughout that process?
Yeah, I think for me, it's always been a battle of like, just like moral logic, I guess, in the sense of like, I think a lot of times like loneliness and like these anxieties, these things are like the avenue of like the restlessness that we feel is like an avenue to like call that question of like, what am I here for? Like, what am I doing in life? So really those questions in life, like, why am I here? Like, what's the meaning of my life? And I think like going into my sophomore year, I experienced my first year in college, wasn't the greatest. A lot of just stress. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Came into like a boring job in the summer where I just kind of sat there. I've looked at myself, pondered life, just looking up at the stars. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, like maybe this like Catholic thing means something and I should look into it. So I started like researching Father Mike Fitz, all this stuff. And then like I was like, I pretty much like threw, okay, maybe Catholic's not right. Like called it the question. And then like I watched stuff. I'm like, oh, it is. And this actually now means like, more than ever. Like this is an all or nothing thing. So like I have to go all in. And what does that look like? I don't know. I'm a sophomore, but like I know that like there was Buckeye Catholic, so I'm gonna go in and like try to find someone that has the answers for me. So that was not what it was like.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that idea of like, man, like when you have that search for truth sort of mindset, and then when you find the truth, it's like that hard moment where like, dang, this is really the truth. Now, do I want to follow it? Like, can I make that leap of faith? Because, like when I talked to Harlow and stuff like that, who we had on for a past episode, it's like, shout out to Marlo. We shouted him out like 3 episodes.
Let's go.
But like with his story and his conversion, where he's like found a lot of truth and beauty in the Eucharist, and like from that process on, it's like, well, if they've got this right, like what are the following steps, and he kind of kept chasing that. So I think that's a really cool thing. And so when you walk through those doors, you're looking for somebody. Mm-hmm. What's the process from there? What happened from there?
Well, a big start part of my story is like I was heavy, like introvert, socially anxious. So the hardest thing, and for a lot of people that are shy, whatnot, the hardest thing is like, it's like once I get into the friend group, I'm in. But like to get there, it's like I'm not going to just go approach a stranger. I just don't know how to do that. I'm just like, it's stressful. So I'm like sitting there, met a guy, Lou Stromberg, because I started like leading me and whatnot. And like, that was cool because I had one face, like I reached out to him. It was a little stressful to meet with him, but it's like one-on-one, I could do that. I need to do this. And I did that. And it's like, okay, now how do I actually like make friends? And like, he's inviting me to things. I'm going to them, but like I'm scared to go to them. But it's like I just had to say yeah. I knew I had to say yes because I knew that like I desired friendship and communion with others like so much.
Yeah.
And I knew that like I had to say yes to go. So I was like I had to push through this anxiety and do it. And a lot of times it was like not the most fun like experience because it's like I'm sitting there, everyone's talking, I'm like in the corner, but then they kept like reaching out to me. I'm like, these guys aren't the same. They actually like want to hear more from me.
Yeah.
Usually I had this expectation like no one actually wanted to really hear what I had to say, but like these people wanted to talk. It was fun to talk with them, and like slowly over time it was like just deeper yeses, like a small yes, big yes, like Bible study, discipleship, going to a random thing on a Thursday that has nothing directly related to the faith, but like it's good fellowship and like it's just so important to like be with those people. So like that was like the next stages of like just going deeper, just small yes after small yes.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Talk about a great person to meet. If you're an introvert, you don't want to talk to somebody. Get Luke Stromberg in there. It's like talk to him for 5 minutes, and you're probably gonna be complimented and be called and invited to something. Yeah, so that's so awesome. Just and again, like I probably would never guess that about you because when I see you, you're like a natural. Like you're going around giving everybody to a fight, and like. So I think that's like a really beautiful thing that when you give those small yeses, that more and more like called you into this big yes of living on mission, where every time you see people, you sort of have that responsibility that doesn't come out of the responsibility that you want to do that. Like,
yeah,
it's just been something that's been built up through you, that you said yes to this commitment of living on mission, that now you've got the intangibles to do it now that you said yes to so much and build those friendships and build the qualities that are necessary. And now you can jump off and be the guy for somebody else, which is really awesome. I love to see that sort of progression. And I think too, like, I definitely feel that, that's sort of like, you're invited, you're in the door, but you don't know how you're going to fit in, that sort of thing. I definitely feel that a lot because I am good in these situations. Like I like to talk one-on-one. I like the smaller group, but I struggle to like introduce myself to people a lot. Like
small talk.
I know a lot of faces around here, but I don't know a lot of names because I'm not good at like just throwing out a handshake. Like, how's it going, man? What's your name?
Yeah.
So then I like sometimes rely on other people to do that. But in the moments where I have introduced myself to people, like I see the good fruit of it, and I see like the opportunity for. When I see the person who I know their face, and it's not weird for me to say hi to them because I've talked to them before. That's like it makes the campus smaller and smaller and smaller. We have such a great community here, and so that was the next thing I was going to ask you about. Is obviously that community role kind of builds you up a lot. Like, what are the big takeaways for like how important community is for like building a fruitful faith?
Yeah, it's so essential. I think like if you look around at the people that are involved and you see around the most, it's also the people that are praying the most, that are the most like fruitful and just like loving people. And it's like I wonder why that is. And it's just like we're made for communion with others and like to have that relationship. And it's just like we are just creatures of like habit, and like we imitate others, and it's just like it's what we do. And if you're not with them, you're with someone else, and like you're either going to be like friends with people that aren't leading you to Christ, or like you're taking in media like as your form of like friendship. And like it's just like you have to constantly be around like loving people, and it's just like that's just the answer. It's like that you have to. It's just so essential.
It is so true, because like as much as we think, like I heard somebody describe our phone as a social pacifier one time, which I think is like the most apt description ever. Like when you're in a social situation that you don't want to be in, you can just give yourself this social pacifier. Scroll on your phone while you eat food in the dining hall. Yeah. Or when you're waiting in line or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like as much as that feels like it's helping you out and like making you more connected to the world, I feel like we heard it several times at Seek, but like we have a big loneliness epidemic.
Yeah.
Like people are so lonely because actually when they get into their phone, it's an inauthentic connection when they know that subconsciously, and then they see other people's great friendships out there and they're like, man, why don't I have that? Or why don't my friends want to do that? Instead of going and finding a room of people who do want to do it, which then it's like daunting and there's so many different things. But at the end of the day, like all you can really do is put yourself out there and just go for it.
Like it's hard because it's this balance of like you so badly want it, but you so badly don't want it. Like you're so scared and like you do not want to be in that situation, right. But like deep down you really do. You just want to like you want to be past the hard situation and like just be in it and be part of that circle. But like it's that such the hard weight of like I'm so anxious, like everything's stirring up inside me. Like what are they thinking? The judgment, everything is then thrown at you at once, and it's so hard. But it's like it's good deep down, and you want it, and crave it. Yeah.
And again, like it's just so crazy how like you could think about those like small anxieties. Like maybe you said something, maybe you cracked a joke and nobody laughed at it when you're like meeting some people the first time, and you replay that all the time. But if you ask those other people who are around you, they would be like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. Because they definitely did not think that. Like everybody else, like you think about those small things so much and nobody else notices those things. And even if you maybe had like a bad first impression, the more time you spend with people, like the more and more opportunity they have to get to like actually know you. Because, you know, shaking somebody's hand, you get to know the part of a person that a lot of people know. You know, the name, major, hometown, all the typical things. But then once you spend more and more time, you get past that, you get into like, you know, what drives this person? Like what aspects of the faith does this person demonstrate in a beautiful way that I don't understand yet? Which, you know, Harla talks about that a lot in our early Bible studies, where it's like you can have a different aspect of God revealed to you in every new person that you meet.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, you think about it that way, like why would you not want to make friends with everybody? Because you're just going to get revealed more and more of the beauty of God's creation. And at that point, it's like, it almost sounds like you're in the wrong if you don't want to make friends.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like kind of a crazy thing that then can almost put pressure on it. But it's like, man, like what a beautiful and huge opportunity that is.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So I think that's really interesting. So yeah, you got the community. You've, you know, dove into that. Like, talk about the importance of the development of a good prayer life. Because I'm sure, like, I'm going to make the assumption that you hadn't really gotten into too much of a great prayer routine prior to college. I mean, based on how you describe, like, at home with a family, mine was kind of a pretty similar situation. And learning how to kind of do that on your own. What are the big things you learned that you think would be helpful for others in developing a consistent prayer life?
Yeah, it's just like another thing that you just have to do, right? You have to do it. It's like just the small steps of incrementally like increasing of like, okay, 30 minutes once a week to twice a week to an hour here and there, and like eventually like every day. And it's just like I realized in my life just the need to, in the middle of the day, the gift of like I'm in classes, I'm doing all these things, like the day's just like flying by, and like if I don't pray, when I go through the day, let's go to bed, wake up, and like, what did I just do? I just kind of like wasn't like a simulation, just process anything. But like when I take an hour in the middle of the day to just like slow down, be with the Lord, remember like what I'm doing, who I am, like whose I am, and like all these things, it's like, wait a minute, it reminds me of like the mission of the day. And I think like a big thing is like the desire of us, especially Americans, to be productive, and like a good day is one in which not one where we're productive, but one where we're present.
Yeah.
And like when I go and pray, it reminds me that like I'm present, and that's my day was good. Like I went to mass, I've received the Lord, and like I've prayed, and that's like I've succeeded in the day. That's all I've had to do. And like I finished that, I closed in prayer, and like okay, now the rest of my day is fueled. I'm gonna continue like always throughout the day now to be thinking of the Lord. He's gonna be on my mind. Yeah. And it just like. It's just good. And like to start my day, and when I schedule my day of like, I'm starting with, okay, when's the time I'm going to pray? And then fill in the rest of my day. I have 16 and a half hours that I'm awake in a day. I could give 1 hour to the Lord, and then 15 and a half hours of plenty of time to do what like I need to do. But like that is like no exception. I'm there for an hour because like I need it so I could actually like breathe and live. Yeah, it's to keep my sanity.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I really realized that until like once you get a taste of the beauty of it and like how it provides context and meaning, like you said.
Yeah.
Like before I had a prayer life, it's like it seemed like so much can just blow by in instant. And still sometimes I feel like that. Like I was just reflecting on the school year. We're texting in our group chat, and we're like, dang, this school year was really a blur. But at the same time, I could think of so many beautiful, meaningful moments, backed by things that came out of prayer or all that stuff. But I also have that like feeling where I've processed everything. I don't think I missed anything because, every day I'm in there getting my hour to like recuperate and like kind of backlog everything that's going on.
Yeah.
It's almost like, when you just take that quiet time where you just like think about your day, think about the next day, and just, what came out of this today? What are those things that I should walk away with, and what are those things that I should, stay away from? Yeah, future. So yeah, like you said, it's absolutely essential. Yeah. It's in that same way that you could talk about the friendship relationship. It's a really easy way to apply that to your prayer life. Like, say, I have somebody who cares about me and loves me so much, but I don't give them time to get to know me, or I don't take time to get to know them. Like, what is a friendship? What is a relationship going to be like if we never talk to each other?
Yeah.
But when you sit down for an hour, like I know every time I sit down with a single person for an hour, I'm coming away with something. I can promise you that. If we don't accomplish anything conversationally in an hour,
what are we doing?
Then that's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
And you'll have those days in prayer too, where you're just not focused. Something's off. You can't stop thinking about the assignment that's due or something like that. But those days too are still good reminders of like, even if it wasn't perfect, I still showed up, because I'm gonna have those days too where like it's hard for me to show up for my friends because I'm just so like bogged down by other stuff. But like if you do, then you've done something good.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's the beauty of prayer. I think of a friendship a lot of way in like three senses. Like a lot of times when you're hanging out with a friend, there's three things happening. One, you're going in with this approach of like, I'm going to be the one talking today. I have a lot to say. Like you're going to be listening. I have a lot to say. And it's like, okay, same with the Lord. Like sometimes you're going to go in the chapel. I have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to journal, whatever it is. Right. You're going to hear a lot of me, Lord. Another time it's like, I know that they're like, my friends are going to have a lot to say. I'm ready to listen. Yeah. And sometimes you're like, okay, I'm coming in with this approach of like, the Lord's going to speak, has a lot to say to me today. I'm going to listen. And then sometimes no one has anything to say. And it's like, okay, we're going to sit and stare at the wall together. But like, that's beautiful when you got that like silence with your friend. Yeah. It's the same thing like with the Lord. Where it's like, hey, and this might go for weeks. Like most of the time, this is me, the third one, where there's nothing for us to say. It's just like life's kind of going, it's chilling. But like you get in that deep prayer and it's like, it's just me and you here, Lord. Like this is cool. Yeah. I'm just with the Savior of the world, and like, we're just going to be here. Yeah. And like, regardless, it's like either option is awesome. And like to do that in that time for an hour, however long you have, like to just be with him in that sense, it's like, oh, this is good.
Yeah. And bringing it even back into that, it's like somebody who I just met, you have an awkward silence. Like somebody you don't talk to a lot. It's like you want to fill it up constantly. You want to be talking the whole time. And any time where you're not talking, you're like, twiddle your fingers like, what's going on here? Like think about the next thing, next question, get this back rolling. Yeah. But when you have somebody who you like are really best friends with, you don't have to feel all that, because just being together is enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when you can get to that place with the Lord where just being together is enough, that you can just be like, just sit in that moment and be present and be happy. It's just so awesome. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's one of the most beautiful things I think in Ginger Flatman prayer. Yeah. So yeah, you've got the community, you've got the prayer life. Let's talk about the call to mission a little bit, because obviously that's a huge, beautiful thing. Let's go into like what led you to that. Describe it a little bit for the people listening. Yeah,
like the why behind
The why be hard answers?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You want the short answer or the long answer?
Depends.
All right, let's see.
Go for it. However it needs to be done.
Yeah, I think like some build up to the mission. I think one of my favorite movies, which I just watched last night, actually, again with Harlow, Good Will Hunting. I don't know if you
Oh, yeah, it's a great movie.
love that movie. There's the scene of where Robin Williams, the actor, his name is Sean, in the movie, says to the guy, like, it's not your fault. And he keeps saying it to him. And like the guy's like, I know it's not my fault. I know it's not my fault. Blah, blah, blah. But like he keeps saying it and pushing into it. And then eventually he gets to this point of like, it's not your fault. And then Matt Damon, who's the actor, like he starts, his name Will, but he starts like crying. He starts like finally, it's this point of like, I love it. It's the most beautiful point because I think it's like the Father speaking to us of like this conviction of like, in our head, we know all these things, but in our heart, we don't realize. And like eventually he realizes and he's like, oh, it's actually like now my fault. And I've been holding and carrying this for so much. And the reason I say this and relate it to mission is that like every single person is carrying something. Like we all have a heart and there's like something that like is not perfect in our life. And at Seek a few years ago, Monsignor Shea, most people don't know him, but he said this thing of like, maybe college students are actually onto something. Maybe anxiety, loneliness, all this stuff is like actually the right and like adequate response for growing up in a world without God. Like that is how we should respond if we don't know God. And I think like when it comes to mission, I come in with a very like a heart of empathy of like the reality of our life is human beings, like as human beings, like dogs, animals, like they just want to be satisfied. Like they just need to be like, have food and they're good to go. We could have that, but there's something else. Like we need more. We need it to be fulfilled. We like, if we're just have the food, we're not gonna be happy. Like in the human heart, in our soul, we desire happiness. Like it's placed in us and that's what distincts us. Like you can't explain what a human being is without saying that we need happiness.
Yeah.
And it's in our soul. And like, we just so badly want to be happy, but like we're not. And there's like this void of like, this ache in our heart of like we want it, and with that there's like people are restless. I know like every single person like probably was gone home and like cried themselves to sleep at some point, and it's just like it breaks my heart because like we have this longing and like we don't acknowledge why it's there, where it came from, and like there's something, and it's because we were broke, like the fall, sin, Adam and Eve. Like we know like as Catholics why we have that. Yeah. And people reject that like there's brokenness within us, and we need the first step to like come into the faith, whatnot, is like to acknowledge that we're broken.
Yeah.
And I look around and I read in scripture, like one of my favorite verses that my call to mission is like when Jesus says like he looks at the crowd and he had like compassion for them, for they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. And this high call to mission for me was like I look around and like people don't know. They go to bed, they're crying themselves to sleep, they're anxious, they're afraid, they're stressed. Like all these things, they're carrying so much, and like they think it's their fault. Back to the Good Will Hunting, and they don't know. They just don't know. Like it's not your fault. All these wounds, all these things, these generational things that have come from their family, they're carrying so much.
Yeah.
And like they're anxious, they're afraid, and like there's the greater hope out there, and there is a life that like it's not just these up and downs. It's like actually like could be beautiful. It like there's so much of it, and like then in that verse Jesus says like the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few, and it's like who's gonna do it if not me? Like who's gonna be the one? Because I know why you feel that way, and I know what you could feel like because I felt that way, and like I know what a life like fully alive looks like ever since the Lord, and it's like. Why would I not want everyone else to know that? To know that like this heart that they're trying to like place bandages on, like of all these wounds. Yeah. It's like actually you don't have to do that. What you can do is like a little scab. Like the best thing to let it heal is like let it out into like the air and let it breathe. Like our heart, we need to let it like breathe and like be with the Holy Spirit and like to be healed. And it's like you can have a heart that's not just like trying to bandage, go about life like this sucks, good, bad, life's good. Maybe I catch a like wave of luck, ride it high. It's like that's cool. Maybe you do have a really good, lucky life, but like at the end of the day, you're gonna die. It's gonna blow up. Yeah. So it's like no matter what, you're doomed. So, but like in reality, if you bring it to the Lord, like you actually could have a healed heart, and like you could be happy like forever, and like especially in eternity. And it's like, that's why for mission, because like you're not happy and like there's actually hope for you. And I know the good news, that's the greatest news ever. And you need to know that. And if someone's going to do it, it's going to be me.
Yeah. Dang.
That's a long answer.
That is so weird. Yeah. I think a lot of things, I remember, because Luke brought up the bandage heart thing.
Yes.
I would say one time. It really reminds me of something that we talk about a lot. Our equivalent of the bandaged heart is the God-sized hole. Mm-hmm. So we always talk about the God-sized hole in your heart. Yeah, try to fill with other things. You're not gonna find that like full heart. Yeah. But when you finally like allow God to come into your heart and fill up that gap, then you have this full heart that's capable to love, that's capable to be loved, and be called into the abundant life, as Jesus calls it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's so awesome. It's just like, how could you not want to share it when you put it that way? Yeah, there's so many broken people out there, especially in the college realm, who just have that hopeless sort of mentality. It's really real. Like it's so easy to fall into it when you don't have the answer.
Yeah.
So is that something like with college students specifically that really calls you into that?
Yeah. And I think when you're thinking of like, it's not a question on if you're going to live mission, like the Lord demands you to live mission. Yeah. It's the question of how you're going to do that. And that comes to like, what is that thing that you have empathy towards? And for me specifically, like the Lord drew like this to me at this age and whatnot. And it's like, I was found like as a college student, and I have empathy for college students. So that's the group that like I want to and like desire to help. And maybe like you're a person that really passionate with like little kids. Maybe it's overseas, whatever it is. But like for me, it was like, I feel like a connection with college students and they need to know this. So like, I'm going to live mission and be a missionary for college students for the for foreseeable future.
Yeah. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's so exciting. Boom. Okay. So with this proposition of mission, committed into it, what are you most excited for and what are you most nervous for going into that?
Yeah, most excited is just like to see people come alive. Like I just love to see people come alive, and like to be able to do that is like, that's the greatest gift. And you were talking earlier about like friends and stuff, like how every person has something, a glimpse of God. It's like to find that little glimpse of like, dang, it's in you. I know it is. Like, I want to be able to be, like, I get to lead you in that. That's crazy. Like, I spent my whole life, like, chasing sports, whatever, like football. It's like, now I'm chasing the game of life and, like, getting to love people. Like, that's fun.
That's
not looking forward to. I'd say, like, I'm always, like, goodbyes are always hard because, like, the fact that you get to taste a glimpse of, like, a friend and, like, leaving here and going somewhere else, like, that's tough. Of like, leaving. There's beauty to it. And, like, to have the gratitude for like getting to receive that part of the person is amazing, but like it's hard also to like leave the amazing thing that you found and like go. That's kind of like a transfiguration, but it's like that Peter and them, they just wanted to stay and stop.
We get some
like no, it's like we got to go down. Yeah, the sense like no, you got to go. It's like time to do your mission, and it's like but it's kind of the transfiguration, kind of nice. Yeah. So that's the hardest part.
Yeah. There's so many examples of that too. Like just thinking off of Bible studies and discipleship, like, the Paul and Timothy relationship where it's like, man, I love you so much. And, I'm going to cry after we're apart from each other, but it just has to be this way because we have something that we can give to others that's going to be so much better than if we just sit here and talk about it together and spend time together. Or like St. Francis Xavier in the Jesuit mission and stuff like that in the early days where it's like, yeah, we've been best friends. We've been living together, St. Francis Xavier and St. Ignatius of Loyola, and just becoming so tight. But now we got to go. There's greater things that have to be done, and it is super hard. But the fact of the matter is, when you've been formed in a way, like you're gonna be prepared for it. You're gonna get through it well because it's natural. It's what has to happen, and as a man as committed and as dedicated and as loving as you are, like that will prevail. That mission will always prevail. And it's not like you're, especially with the benefit. I mean, we talked about some of the hard part of like the social media and connectivity culture.
Yeah.
But the beautiful part is that all the people in your life are still like a FaceTime away.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
as much as you crave that one-on-one connection, you still are never completely apart from people these days, which is a scary thing and a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, but that's very exciting. I do think like the role of the missionary is so important. And we've got the best examples here, like seeing all the missionaries and being invited into real friendship with them. Yeah, has been such a joy that I didn't even know was gonna happen. You come here, I didn't know anything about Focus or Focus Missionaries at all.
Thinking about that, yeah.
No, I had no idea. I just was like going to church. Then I joined Bible study and then found out there's a hierarchy. But then I find, great buddies to go play basketball with and, talk about important stuff with and hang out and play cards on a Saturday and all this stuff that it's like, man, you guys are just like put here to be the best friends for people that they need in this time. And is really one of the greatest gifts that I've found here is it's the sacrifice of the FOCUS missionaries and the good that they do for the community. Yes. A smiling face can go a long way, I feel like.
For sure.
And yeah, so it's really beautiful and really exciting. And then I feel like this one might be a hard question, but probably the last question based on time. Like long term, do you think of any specific things? This is a very broad question. When you think long term, like what are some specific things that you have, like maybe goals for the rest of your life, or things that you really want to instill now so that you can fulfill later on, or something like that?
Yeah. I think it's just like a continual progression of like giving every ounce that I have of like there's no excuse of like you get married, settle down, the American dream of like whatever it is. It's like no, like I'm gonna use, my biggest fear is that like I don't use the gifts the Lord gave me like to the fullest, and like I want to be able to give everything I have and like always pursuing a deeper like love and deeper way of like leading and loving others. So like I desire that. And I think like I have a goal of like I want to do eventually like I think be a therapist, like counselor of sorts, to like talk with people about those things. Like very passionate about the heart of empathy that I have, and like reading and understanding other people's souls and like that way. So like that's something I'm very passionate, like a goal I have, like just to pursue that field super well. My vocation, like a marriage or whatever it is, like pursuing that super well. So there's like all these small things that like, man, I just want to be good. Like I tell the Lord, I'm like, Lord, I just want to like love you more. And it's this constant battle. It's like, I've learned that it's not the battle of like whether we love the Lord or not. It's like whether we love the Lord or we love ourselves more. And it's like a lot of times I love myself more. And it's like trying to just like love the Lord and like not myself. Yeah. And like to be purged of all that stuff. Like that's just the slow battle into my entire life. Like learning to like give myself up and like empty myself as Christ had it on the cross. So that's just the goal, like emptying myself and like really giving everything I have so I could be that like 99 overall 2K player. Full bad. I see my attributes. That's it,
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Dude, fantastic. That's so awesome. That one's getting clipped for sure. That one's going like
yeah.
All right, well, with that, it has been an absolute pleasure. You can wrap it up with one big clack.